Hi guys, it's been a minute. I see you, Maxine. It's been a minute. I'm still wearing the same robe. My house is still not got heat. My husband is still gone. I'm working my stay-at-home job, and I hate it so much. I know I shouldn't complain, and I know I sound like I complain a lot, but I hate it so much. To me, okay, let me back up a little bit. I hate it because, to me, a stay-at-home job is something you can do and that you should do because you want to, oh, I don't know how to explain it. Okay. To me, a stay-at-home job is something that you can do and still have your kids at home. Right now, in order to do this job that I'm doing, I'm having to take my kids over to my neighbor's house daily, back and forth, because my hours are... Okay, let's just put it this way. Sunday, I worked for 3.5 hours, or either 3 hours, and I had 4 or 5 30-minute shifts and one 1 hour long shift, and they had like 2 hours in between the 30 minutes. So I'm constantly either having to go back and forth with my kids, or I don't know. Shadow, come on. The dog is taking too long to go potty. But I'm either having to go back and forth with my kids because I have breaks in between and I want to see them, I want to spend time with them, or they have to stay over there all day long, even with me just working like 3 hours, because it's literally just long enough for me to take a pee break, maybe grab a snack or a drink, let the dogs out, and then get back on the computer because, come on, because every time, even if it's like a 30-minute shift and then a 30-minute break and then a 30-minute shift, as an example, we'll use that. During that 30 minutes in between, I have to log out of all my systems that I have to use for this job. And, come on. And it takes like 10 minutes to log out, and then it takes another 10 minutes to log back in. So in all reality, I have like a 10-minute break in between shifts, and that's only if I don't have a call that goes over my shift time. Like, say I'm supposed to get off at 10:30, and then I get a call at like this happened the other night. Luckily, it was at the end of my last shift, so it didn't really matter, but this does seem to happen to me pretty much every time. So I had a shift up until like 10:30 the other night, I think. Something like that, or 10. It may have been 10. That's what it was. I had to work until 10. And then, hold on just a minute. I gotta go let the cat out. My kids are asleep. Okay. Are we back online? Yes, we are. Anyway, what I was saying is that I worked until 10 o'clock. And I got or maybe it was 9:30, something like that. But I got a call like a minute before I was allowed to in my shift. I want to sit down, but it's dark in here because my light's not working. Oh, it's bright enough, I guess. But I got a call like a minute before my shift ended. And it was one of those calls with a customer who had like 3 or 4 things that we had to do. And hey, Navi, quit scratching the couch. YouTubers with Tourette's, I swear. No, YouTubers with pets. That's what it is. But I got a call like a minute before I was supposed to clock out. And you literally are not allowed to clock out until it's like on the dot end of your shift. Like, there's no exceptions. So I got a call like a minute before my shift ended, and the customer needed me to place an order for like 4 or 5 different items, and then They wanted some items had to be shipped to store, some items had to be shipped to home, so I had to make two separate orders and separate all the items and still make sure that I got all the correct items. And it was just an ordeal, and I got an extra hour of work because of it. Like I said, thank goodness it was at the end of my last shift, because otherwise, if, say, I had like a shift that was supposed to end at 9:30 and then I started another shift at 10, so I'd have 30 minutes in between, I wouldn't get that shift break. So if I'd worked 4 hours and then had a 30-minute break and then was scheduled to work another 4 hours, I would have just been forced to quit clawing the couch. I would have been forced to work 8.5 hours straight, no breaks, no nothing, because if you end up working through your designated break, then you don't get one. And you cannot leave the computer, or, well, the phone. It's a phone line through your computer. But you cannot leave your computer while you're on shift, because you never know when a call is going to come through. And if you miss a call and a customer's on silence, or gets answered with silence, that's not good. So, yeah, I'm kind of done. Also, another thing is, one, we were supposed to get paid for training. Our training ended on a payday, like us, because we get paid on the 1st and the 15th of every month, you know, and our training ended on the 14th, so we all figured, okay, since we started at the beginning of a pay period and our training ends right before the end of the pay period, we should get paid on that pay period. No, they hold our money. So now I have, this next week will be my 3rd week. Friday is payday, hopefully, unless they do it on the 1st, which is a Saturday, so I don't know how that'll work. I'm hoping that since it lands on the 1st, we get paid, or since the 1st lands on a Saturday, that we'll get paid a Friday before instead of the Monday after, because kind of needing that money. But then it's also not worth it, because they take all kinds of fees out, because you're working for a third-party company, basically. You're working for one company through another company, so it's basically, it works like a temp agency, except they have fees for you working under them. Like, the client I work under, or work for, is supposed to be a $15 an hour client. But since I work for under the third party for the client, they take $2.50 off every hour that I work. So every hour I work, they make $2.50, and I make $12.50. And they also charge like $20 each paycheck for an invoice, showing stuff like hours and pay for the week and pay for the day and da 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 da. So they charge you like $20 for an invoice. Excuse me. And then there's another $20 charge. I don't remember what it's for. I'd have to look up the paperwork. And then they make you take out 20% for taxes, which is like 5% more than what you have to take out. But they require you to take out 20 to make sure you take enough out so you're not behind or short. Which, I mean, that's understandable. But let's get real. And then they do the, $65 for Medicare and $14.50 for Medicaid each check. And I did the math, and I have over 80 hours of work for 3 weeks. Which, I mean, is like normal work weeks, right? But after all their fees and taxes and everything, I'm gonna get like $400 for working for 3 weeks. And I've not been able to have my kids here with me. I've had to bug my friend she's my neighbor, so it's not a very far you know, they're not far from me or anything, and she's good people, but I've had to ask her for a lot of favors because I can't have them running around while I'm on the phone. And the other day I tried having them here because I just, like I said, I had like 30-minute shifts with like an hour or so in between. And one customer asked if he heard a cat or a kid in the background. I was just like, somebody's, I don't know what they're doing out here. Can you hold on just a minute so I can see? And then I went and calmed the kids down and got them in the room and stuff, and then came back and I said, I'm sorry, I don't know what that was. It must have been something, it must have been a whine on my mic or something. So, in other words, I might be getting fired anyway, because you're not supposed to have any background noise, so I think, once I'm no longer working for them, I might give a little bit more detail on what's going on. Because, I mean, it's a good opportunity, but I 100% do not advise it if you look to make a living working for them, because you have to work a ridiculous amount of hours to make up for all the fees and shit to make a living or have any kind of money that's worth anything. 2, I do not advise it if you have children who are not in school, because if you can't afford a babysitter, then you're still shit out of luck, because you need a babysitter, because you can't have any background noise or interruptions, like, and what irks me the most about it is that the first thing I told them whenever I called them asking for info was that I'm a stay-at-home mom and military wife, so I'm here by myself with the kids a lot, and we cannot afford a babysitter, and only one of my children is in school. And he's only in school until like 2:30. She's like, oh, that's fine. We are, quote, single parent and stay-at-home mom friendly. To me, that means that it's okay if you have your kids at home. We'll be able to give you opportunities that you'll be able to work around that. They do not. They are all phone jobs that require you to be on the phone with customers, that you are not allowed to have any background noise with, especially squealing children or slamming doors or just everyday life. You are not allowed to, like, the customers cannot know that you are working from home. To me, if you do not want the customers to know that you are letting associates work from home, that you don't want them to know that you are a work from home friendly business, then you shouldn't do it. Because I understand that you have to be professional and that you have policies and reputations that need to be upheld, and that your employees should be professional and polite and courteous and da-da-da-da-da. But also, if you are going to be a work from home friendly company and a so-called single parent and stay-at-home parent friendly company, then you should be able to accept the fact that some of the people working for you work for you because they have no other choice, because they can't afford babysitters, because the reason they are a stay-at-home parent is because they can't afford to have a babysitter, and because being a stay-at-home parent, there's only one income and they need the extra income in order to make ends meet. That's what you need to take into consideration whenever you do this. Because to me right now, I want to quit. I just want to work my last paycheck to the 15th to get my Christmas money and then quit. Because this is not a family-friendly job. I'm still having to take my children to the babysitter. I'm still having to scramble around trying to figure all that out. And to me, that's not right. But more on that later. I'm running out of time. I try to keep my videos about 15 minutes. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.